Hello everyone, this is TobeTada with another video of crypto trading. Thanks for checking by and let's dive right in. So for today's video I thought we'd have a closer look at Steem and how it relates to the Elliott wave theory, possible outlook, short-term, mid-term and long-term. And of course we're having the hard fork tomorrow, August 27th, so that'll probably change a lot of stuff on Steem. We have, of course, the SPS and EPI and everything, and that's probably going to mix everything up by a lot. And of course, we don't know how that will affect price, but within this method of charting, in terms of wave theory, these news, so to speak, don't play so much of a role because we're mostly interested in the patterns and in the waves that we try to chart, basically. So because I'm not an expert at this, I've basically, like probably everybody, is self-taught and I'm still learning. And so if you have a better idea of how we could make sense of the price movement in the last years, let me know. I'm happy to learn some more stuff, but I'm going to give you the best idea of what I have right now, what is happening. And so let's have a look. We have basically different cycles, and also you can see that they're basically, I've made them a larger cycle. I've marked that with basically Roman numerals, or I guess a 0, 1, 2 here. That would be the idea that this would be the bigger cycle, and this bigger cycle is of course or can be broken down to smaller cycles, and you can see that by these circles and numbers as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a B, C here. And again, you can have a more detailed look and see what is going on within those cycles and so on. That's basically the idea. And what you can see is that I've marked this as the beginning, I guess the biggest cycle I drew up on here, which started around March 2017, and we had, of course, the peak in January 2018. And this is one scenario where I basically mark the low here. The time range or frame, I guess, is not so precise, but it could be around, I guess, the 10-cent area, something around here. And you can basically see that there's a lot of stuff, other stuff going on. So let's have a look at what I drew in here. And after an impulse wave, which is defined as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we basically have a correction. And this correction has taken place since January 2018. You can see there has been a strong downward movement, and in fact it's been so dramatic that we're basically at a 98% decrease or loss in value. And you can see also that there has been, I guess, stronger waves. If we look at it in this perspective, you can see that there is an A going down here, and the corrective movement going back up again, but the larger movement was heading downward, and so we had a C down here. Now there has been, of course, an upward movement again and a downward movement, and in terms of Elliott wave theory, I did some research, and I think the best way to make sense of this is that we had a zigzag pattern here in ABC, which we marked as a 5, 3, 5. So we'd had a basically subwaves 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we had a correction 1, 2, 3, and also again a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be basically, if that is correct labeling it in this way, we'd have a zigzag going down to 21 cents about C. after that, of course, we had another downward movement. So this correction was not, or is not quite complete. And of course the question is if we have reached the low point or not. In this scenario, I argue that we perhaps have not quite seen the low point, because I couldn't make sense of this movement in terms of Elliott wave theory without including this combination with a so-called flat. And so after a zigzag here, ABC, I believe that we might be seeing here a flat, which means that we basically see an upward movement in terms of a 1, 2, 3. Draw that in there as a 1, 2, 3. And then another downward movement in terms of a 1, 2, 3. And then there should be, if this is true, a small impulse wave going up as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. And if that pattern holds here, these 5 subwaves here, from B to C, then I think there's a good argument for this being a combination of a zigzag and a flat. Now, I'm not even sure if there is this combination in Elliott wave theory. I've done some research and there is some other combinations, so I'm not completely sure if this is the right way to look at it, but it makes sense for me because we can see these subwaves, and it doesn't make sense if we look at it in terms of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because they overlap here. So a 1, 2, 3 and the 1, 2, 3 down here combined with a 5 wave impulse wave to C would actually be called a flat. So that would be my argument for this being a combination of a zigzag and a flat. And after a flat, because we're basically coming down here, we have to see another declining movement here. So if this is correct, we'd have to see a decline going back down to about the 10-cent area, perhaps even. And that's what I marked with the C here, which would be basically part of the larger correction. So if we draw that, basically all of this stuff here, if I simplify it, it would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course the correction having to be a ABC. In my case, this would be a combination of a zigzag and a flat, which you can see here. And after that, I'm expecting, of course, the larger trend being upward again. So that's what I marked with this Roman numerals here. So 1, 2, and going up, back, 3, over this previous peak here, about $9. Now that's still a long way off, and we have to, of course, see if we can confirm this. So for now, for the basically short term, I'd expect the price actually going back up until we actually go slightly above this peak of A, which would imply to be about 60 cents range, perhaps 70 cents. And if this is confirmed with the 5-wave pattern here, it probably, unless somebody tells me that you can't combine it in this way, it was a correcting flat, and basically we'd have to see the price moving downward again. And because we're basically still within this larger corrective phase of an ABC, the price would have to go lower than B here. And so that's why I basically drew the C down here. And you can see also that there is quite a bit of support down here. Of course, this could be a little bit higher also, but you can see there is quite a bit of support coming from this area, 10 cents about, something like that, 12 cents, 10 cents. I don't think it will drop too much further down than that. So this is one idea. Of course, we could also have reached the low point right now with about 15, 16 cents. But I don't think, unless anybody corrects me, that it's possible to have this correction as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have any or a better idea, let me know, but for now I came up with this as a zigzag flat combination, taking us actually in the midterm lower. So as an outlook, in 3 different time spans, I would say that in the short-term outlook, we're actually going to see a increase in price and possibly up to 60, 70 cents, because we have to be higher, coming back higher than the A. In the midterm, it means, although, that we're going to perhaps see another low for Steem, going down to about 10 cents. And in the long term, things look quite good. We're going to come back up, and although this definitely seems very idyllic, I guess, or perhaps hard to imagine, but we might actually go into this price range again in the next years. Who knows? We'll have to, of course, keep our eyes open what happens in the short term here, and if these patterns get confirmed, and perhaps if the price moves differently, this basically we have to come up with another idea here. For now, this is what I came up with, and if you found this helpful, please let me know, and see you next time. Bye.